To make your abstract portrait, you'll want a piece of white paper. I have a pretty large piece of paper here. As you can see, I can't fit it quite into my camera, but you can use whatever white paper you have. You can draw in pencil to start and then outline either in a black permanent marker or a black crayon. I'm going to draw with my black marker so that you can see it as I draw it. I'm going to put my paper vertical going up and down, and I'm going to go towards the top center of the paper and do a line down. I'm going to go close to halfway and stop, and then I will bring a line over to the side, not quite going all the way over. Then I'm going to repeat that vertical line with like maybe a finger width of space between it. So I'm going to move over and come down. I'll stop before I get over to the bottom, and I will come over this way so the lines meet up and then connect them. This is the nose for my portrait. Now I can start on the eyes. I'm going to come somewhere over here and do a horizontal line going from side to side. Now that I have that horizontal line, I'm going to do the top part of the eye with a curved line. And I will recreate that same type of curve on the bottom, going the other direction, curving up and around. Now I'll create an eye on this side of the nose, and I can do it matching about the same space as that one, or I can go a little higher or a little lower because it is an abstract artwork. I'm going to go a little bit lower, so I'm going to come down lower, draw my horizontal line, and now I can do the curved line on the top and the curved line on the bottom. Inside of the bottom part of our eyes, we can put the iris or the colored part of the eye. And you can do that by just doing a slightly curved line in and a slightly curved line in. So this would be the whites of the eye, and this would be the colored part of the eye. Inside of the colored part of the eye, we have our pupil, which is black. You can fill that in with your black crayon or your black Sharpie. And I won't do that right now. I'll just keep moving on, and I'll do that in a little bit. I'm going to come over and do the same thing over here. So a curved line for the iris, and then a smaller a circle for a pupil. I'm going to come down from the middle of the nose and then connect to a mouth. My mouth is also going to be very similar to the shape of my eyes. I'm going to start with that curved line. I'm going to connect with a horizontal line, and I'm going to finish with a line curving the other direction. Now we'll do a line from the mouth down, and this will be the bottom of the face or the chin. So I can curve up and around and connect like that. Now I have my face, and I can move on to my neck. I'll do a vertical line, but stopping before I get to the bottom if I have room. So I have two vertical lines for my neck. I'll connect with a curved line, and now we're moving on to the shirt and shoulders. I'm going to do a curved line here and a curved line there. Now that I have the proportions of the face and all of the facial features, I can go ahead and start adding some spaces that we might put in some patterns. I can divide my face up into more sections, and you can feel free to do that how you'd like. I'm going to come across here to create this space. I'm going to divide the eyelids up into sections. And I'll do the same over here. Again, you do not have to do like I'm doing. You can create your own lines or patterns. You might like to do zigzag lines or loop-de lines and create as you create your spaces. I'm going to do a zigzag type line up here, creating sort of like triangle shapes. I'm going to do curving lines over here. And I'm going to divide my shirt into sections. So I'm going to come down, over. I'm going to use straight lines, but again, you can divide things up however you would like. Here is my finished abstract portrait. So as you can see, I used my crayon and I did white dots in this section of the face. I did purple lines in this section. I did lines on the lips and on the neck. I did kind of a curling line underneath the eye. I put in almost looks like sun ray type lines inside the eyes. I did zigzags and little lines and more dots at the top. On the shirt, I used a variety of lines. And then when I was finished with my crayon, I moved on to adding my watercolor. So I have spaces created, and I only put one color within each space. So for here, I did blue on top of those white dots, and the white dots showed up. On the lips, I chose to do a light red. It came out like a pink. And I just continued on adding my color throughout. One suggestion I would like to give is when you are painting, if this area is wet, move on to an area that isn't touching it to paint next. So you can move around the paper. That way it gives this section a chance to dry before you add more wet paint next to it. Sometimes when a wet paint is next to another wet paint, they can run a little bit. As you can see here, I got a little green into that red section. And that can happen, and that's okay. But if you want to avoid that, you can kind of move around as you paint to allow for things to dry a little bit. You'll want to fill it all in. I did leave the whites of the eyes white, and I left little white highlights in my eyes. I did choose to just do a plain background color, but again, all of those are your choices to make as you create your abstract portrait.